Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I have come up with another interesting video. So before we jump into the theory, I would like to ask you one thing. Have you ever wondered why India exports agricultural goods and at the same time imports machineries and technology? So, in order to find out why do we export and import what we do, we need to understand a very interesting theory called as the Heckscher-Holland theory of international trade. Now, this theory was developed by Elie Heckscher and Bertil Ohlin. They developed this theory to find out the causes of comparative advantage. Now, what do I mean by comparative advantage? Comparative advantage means why a country can produce one good more efficiently as compared to the other countries. Now, what they found out is that factor endowment is the main cause of comparative advantage. Factor endowment means with the availability of the quantity of land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship, how much quantity of goods can be manufactured in our country. Therefore, this theory is also called as the factor endowment theory or the modern theory, and it is based on general equilibrium analysis. Now let's see what the Heckscher and Holland has to tell about this theory. What they say is, a nation will export the commodity whose production requires the intensive use of the nation's relatively abundant and cheap factor, and import the commodity whose production requires the intensive use of nation's relatively scarce and expensive factor. Now, what he is trying to say is, developing countries which have abundance of land and labor are usually the ones who export food grains and other raw materials to the developed countries which have abundance of capital and entrepreneurship but lack the labor and land. And in turn, the developing countries import those machineries and technology from the developed countries. Now, this theory is based on following assumptions. The first assumption is that so basically it's a 2 by 2 by 2 model, which means we are taking into consideration two countries, say A and B, and now each countries have two factors, labor and capital, and both the countries produce only two commodities, that is X and Y. Well, we are taking this assumption so as to simplify our model. The second assumption is the perfect competition in both factor and commodity market, which means a factor or commodity is not a price maker but is a price taker. No single factor can determine the prices of the goods in the market. The next assumption is all production functions are homogeneous and subject to constant returns to scale, which means that each unit of factor is similar to each other, which means they are equally skilled, educated, and have equal abilities. At the same time, what we mean by constant returns to scale is the amount of input we put in, we get the same amount of output. Now, the next assumption is that the factors are mobile within the country but immobile between the countries, which means factors like labor and capital can move between the states, but they cannot move between the countries, which means we are not taking into consideration migration and foreign direct investments. Next assumption is that there are two countries differ in factor supply. That is, country A is labor abundant and country B is capital abundant, which means the country A has more amount of labor than country B, whereas country B has more of capital than country A. Now, each commodity differs in factor intensity. That is, commodity X is labor intensive and commodity Y is capital intensive, which means for the production of commodity X, we require more of labor and less of capital, whereas for the production of commodity Y, we require more of capital and less of labor. The next assumption is the factor intensity differs between the commodities but are same in both the countries for each commodity. Now, what do we mean by this? This means if commodity X requires 10 units of labor and 2 units of capital in country A, then the same amount of labor and capital will be required for the production of commodity X in country B. Now, we assume that there is full employment of factor existing in both the countries, which means now the country is operating at the maximum level, which means there is no chance for the country to increase their production because there is already full employment in the country. Would there have been no full employment, then there are chances that they would employ more people in order to produce the goods. Now, we assume that there are no trade restrictions, that is, there is free trade in both the countries and there is no transportation cost involved. So, these are the assumptions on which our theory is based. Now, with the help of the diagram, we'll understand the theory in more detail. So, on the x-axis, we are going to take into consideration labor and commodity X, whereas on the y-axis, we are taking into consideration capital and commodity Y. Now, we know that country A has abundance of labor and commodity X is labor intensive. Therefore, we find that the PPC of country A, which is AA dash, is skewed towards the x-axis, which means the country A produces more of commodity X and less of commodity Y. Similarly, country B, we can see that the PPC of country B, which is BB dash, is skewed towards the y-axis, which means that the country produces more of commodity Y and less of commodity X. Now, we are taking into consideration P2, P2 and P1, P1 as the price line of country B and A respectively. So, this will determine the domestic prices of the commodities in both the countries. Now, this price line are tangent to the PPC at point EA and EB respectively for both the countries. So, now we can see when there is no trade between the countries are producing both the some amount of commodity X and some amount of commodity Y. And because of that, the consumers are deriving utility, which is shown in terms of the community indifference curve CI1. Now, assume that both the countries want to have trade with each other. Then PP would be the international price line. Now, this international price line is not as flat as P1 P1, but it is not even as steep as P2 P2. Okay, so now this price line intersects the PPC at EA dash and EB dash. Now we can see that country A, now what happens is country A realizes that the prices of commodity X is more in the international market as compared to the domestic market. So what it decides is to produce more of commodity X and less of commodity Y. So as a result, the country A will move from EA to the right hand side, and it will continue to move till EA dash, which is the equilibrium point. That is the equilibrium point because at that point the international price line is tangent to the PPC of country A. So now EA dash is the new equilibrium point. At this point, country A produces ON quantity of commodity X and OM quantity of commodity Y. The same thing happens with country B. It realizes that the prices of the commodity Y is more in the international market as compared to the domestic market because the international price line is not as steep as P2 P2, which is the domestic price line of country B. So now it moves towards the left of the original equilibrium point, and it starts producing more of commodity Y and less of commodity X, and it stops at point EB dash, which is the equilibrium point, because at that point the international price line is tangent to the PPC of country B. Now at the new equilibrium point EB dash, country B produces OM quantity of commodity Y and OS quantity of commodity X. So this is how the things look like. Now they are involved into international trade. So what they will do is they will export. So country A will export NT1 quantity of commodity X and in turn import CE quantity of Y. Similarly, country B will export T2R quantity of commodity Y and will import ST1 quantity of commodity X. Now what we can see is that E, C and EA dash is the trade triangle for the country A, which means that it is exporting CEA of commodity X and importing CE of commodity Y. So now at this point it is producing EA dash, but at the same time it is consuming at point E, which means it is consuming more than what it is producing. Similarly, EB dash D and E is the trade triangle for the country B. At this point, they are exporting EB dash D quantity of commodity Y and DE quantity, and they are importing DE quantity of X. So basically they are producing at EB dash level, but they are consuming at point E, which means that they are consuming more than what they are producing, and therefore the consumers, that is the citizens of both the countries, are at a are deriving higher utility than they were before, and so the consumer indifference curve shifts from CI1 to CI2. So this is what they are gaining from trade. So we can conclude that trade between the countries is beneficial for both the countries. So guys, thank you for watching my video, and if you liked my video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.